Hello everyone, welcome to mechanical vibration lecture. In this lecture we are going to solve a numerical problem using model analysis. So in this problem we are given with three masses and those are connected like this. There is one spring, this is mass of 2m, and this is attached with two masses with the help of this spring. There is one mass m and another mass which is attached with spring m, and this is excited by external force Ft. So we'll take a degrees of freedom. This is 3 degree of freedom system. So this is x1, this is x2, and this is x3. So we need to determine the amplitude or response of the motion of three masses when the force Ft is equal to harmonic force F naught sin omega t is applied to the lower left mass on this one, with the m is given as 1 kg, k equals to 1000 Newton per meter. F naught amplitude of this external force is given as 5 Newton and excitation frequency is 10 radian per second. So we need to analyze this response of this system using model analysis. So as we discussed in the last lecture, first step is to develop the equation of motion. So as we discussed, the equation of motion can be developed using the free body diagram, and then we'll apply the force equilibrium approach. So first of all, we'll draw the free body diagrams of all the three masses. So FBDs. So the FBD for 2m mass, this is 2m, and if this will be displaced by x1, then there would be one force in upward direction, that would be kx1, and another force which is, if we are taking x2 minus x1 as positive, then this force, this spring would be in tension and this will apply a force in this direction, and that would be k x2 minus x1, or you can write for positive x2 minus x1. So, and similarly there would be one more force because of this spring. So if we are taking positive x3 minus x1, then this would be a force k x3 minus x1, and if this is the direction of x1 and x1 dot, x1 double dot, then there would be one more force, that would be inertia force in this direction opposite to the x1 double dot direction. So this would be the direction of m x1 double dot. So now we'll draw the free body diagram of this mass. So this is m, and because of this spring is in tension, then this will apply a force in upward direction, this, and this force would be k x2 minus x1, and this is the direction of x2 double dot. Then there would be one more force, that is m x2 double dot, and similarly this is the free body diagram of third mass, and there would be a force k x3 minus x1 in upward direction, and similarly one inertia force in this direction, that would be m x3 double dot in this direction. So now we can apply the force equilibrium approach to write down the equations of motion. So we'll write down the equation for first mass. So the forces on this mass is mx1 double dot. So for first mass, this is 2m x1 double dot. The total mass is of 2m. So this is 2m x1 double dot plus k x1 minus k x2 minus x1, and third force is k minus k x3 minus x1. So this is minus k x3 minus x1 is equal to 0. So if we rewrite this equation, 2m x1 double dot plus k x1 and plus k x1 minus k x2 and plus k x1 minus k x3 is equal to 0. So this becomes 3k x1. So equation is 2m x1 double dot plus 3k x1 minus k x2 minus k x3 is equal to 0. So this is equation for first mass. Similarly for second mass is this one. So for this, for second mass, this is mx2 double dot in upward direction. So we'll write as mx2 double dot, and second force, only two forces are acting on this mass. So second force is k x2 minus x1 is equal to 0, or we can rewrite this equation in form mx2 double dot minus k x1 plus k x2 is equal to 0. Similarly for third mass, only two forces are acting on this mass. So one force mx3 double dot and one is kx3 minus x1 in positive direction or in upward direction. So plus k x3 minus x1 is equal to 0. So we can rewrite mx3 double dot minus kx1 plus kx3 is equal to 0. So now we are having three equations, 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So these three equations can be written in form of matrix. So matrix form, M matrix and x1 double dot, x2 double dot, x3 double dot, this is acceleration vector. So from first equation, the multiplier of x1 double dot is 2m and multiplier of x2 double dot and x3 double dot are 0, and similarly from 2, for x1 double dot it's 0 and x2 double dot it's m, and 0 0 0, and this is m. So this is our mass matrix, plus this is stiffness matrix, and this is displacement vector x1 x2 x3. So for x1 there is 3k, and for x2 this is minus k, and for x3 this is again minus k. Similarly from second equation, for x1 it's minus k, and for x2 it's plus k, and for x3 it's 0, there is no term of x3. And from third equation, this is minus k for x1, and for x2 it's 0, and for x3 it's k. So this is our stiffness matrix is equal to there is external force, there is one external force on this mass third, and that external force is Ft in this direction. So this equation would be like this, this is Ft. So force vector, this is 0 0, and in the third equation this is Ft. So this is our governing equation for 3 degree of freedom system. So our next step, first step is to develop the governing equation, and in next step we need to solve the eigenvalue problem. So for that, to find out the natural frequencies and mode shapes, so for that we can solve the eigenvalue problem. So for eigenvalue problem we need to find out the determinant of, you can say determinant of minus omega square m plus k is equal to 0. So here if we put the value of, this is mass matrix and this is k matrix, so if we put the value of mass matrix and k matrix in this, then this becomes minus omega square, we take the m out, So this becomes 2 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1, and plus if we take the k out, so this becomes 3 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 0 minus 1 0 1, and determinant of is this one is equal to 0. So now if to make it convenient, we can divide this equation or throughout this equation by k. So by dividing by k throughout, so we'll get minus omega square m divided by k. This is 2 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1, plus k divided by k becomes 1. So this becomes 3 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 0 minus 1 0 1 equals to 0. So now from here onwards, this is constant and this constant can be, so let minus omega square m, or let omega square m divided by k is equal to lambda. We introduce new constant just to make it convenient to write. So this becomes, if we put here lambda, then this becomes minus lambda, or if we solve this complete, this becomes 2 lambda plus 3. At this place we replace this by lambdas, and this is 2 lambda plus 3, and this is 0 minus 1, so minus 1 minus 1 and minus 1, and this minus lambda plus 1 and 0 minus 1 0 minus lambda plus 1 is equal to 0. So now if we find out the determinant of this is equal to 0, we'll have a polynomial equation in lambda. So for this, if we solve this, we'll get if we solve this, I'll write here. So this is minus 2 lambda plus 3 multiplied by minus lambda plus 1 multiplied by minus lambda plus 1. So this becomes minus lambda plus 1 whole square, and minus 1 and multiplied by minus 1 and minus lambda plus 1, and next is minus 1, and this becomes 0, and this becomes minus 1 multiplied by minus lambda plus 1 is equal to 0. If we solve this, we'll get minus 2 lambda plus 3. This becomes lambda square plus 1 minus 2 lambda plus, and this becomes lambda minus 1, and again this becomes lambda minus 1 equals to 0. So if we solve this again, if we sort out this, we'll get minus 2 lambda cube minus 2 lambda plus 4 lambda square plus 3 lambda square plus 3 minus 6 lambda plus lambda minus 1 plus lambda minus 1 is equal to 0. Again, if we sort out or we'll take the terms common and add, then we'll get minus 2 lambda cube plus 4 and 3, 7 lambda square, and if we'll add up this, we'll get minus 6 lambda, and if we add this and this, we'll get plus 1 is equal to 0, or we'll have 2 lambda cube plus 2 lambda cube, and this is minus 7 lambda square, and plus 6 lambda minus 1 is equal to 0. So we have cubic equation in lambda, and obviously we are solving the 3 degree of freedom system, then this equation will have 3 roots. So if we solve this, we'll get the 3 roots in lambda. So here I'll write the 3 roots of lambda. So lambda 1 equals to 0.219220, and lambda 2 is equal to 1, and lambda 3 equals to 2.28078. So we have 3 roots of this equation. These are eigenvalues. So now we can find out the natural frequencies, because lambda, here we defined one constant, lambda equals to omega square m over k. So lambda 1 equals to omega 1 square m over k. So here we now omega 1 can be find out. So omega 1 equals to under root of lambda 1 k by m. So if we put the value of lambda 1 here, we'll get the value of 0.468294 under root k by m. Similarly, this is radian per second. Similarly, we can find out the value of omega 2 using the value of lambda 2, and that becomes 1 under root k by m radian per seconds. And similarly, we can find out the value of omega 3 using the value of lambda 3, and that is 1.510221 under root k by m radian per seconds. So now we have find out the values of natural frequencies. So now next step is to find out the eigenvectors or mode shapes. So to find out the mode shapes, we can put these values of lambda 1 into this equation. So this is our equation. Here if we put the value of, now we can say this is for ith mode shape, we can write the equation minus 2 lambda I plus 3 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus lambda I plus 1 0 minus 1 0 minus lambda I plus 1, and this is phi 1 I, phi 2 I, phi 3 I is equal to 0 0 0. So if we put the value of lambda 1, then we'll find out the first mode shape. If we put the value of lambda 2, then we can find out the second mode shape. Similarly, for third mode shape, we need to put the value of lambda 3. So we'll find out a generalized equation to find out the mode shape. So if we solve this, we can again from here we can find out the values of another two in the form of third one. So let's write the equation. We can write these equations like, from here we can write minus 2 lambda I plus 3 multiplied by phi 1 I minus phi 2 I minus phi 3 I equals to 0. This is our equation. And from the second row of this we can write minus phi 1 I minus lambda I plus 1 multiplied by phi 2i and 0 multiplied by this 0 is equal to 0. So we can, from second equation, this equation we can write phi 1i equals to minus lambda I plus 1 and phi 2i. So we find out the value of phi 1i in the form of phi 2i. So if we can find out the value of phi 3i in the form of phi 2i, then we can write the mode shapes. So if we, from these two equations, if we put the value of phi 1i in this here, then we can, let's see. So this is our one value, and if we replace this value in this equation here, then we'll have minus 2 lambda I plus 3, and at the place of phi 1 we can write minus lambda I plus 1, and this is phi 2i minus phi 2i minus phi 3i equals to 0. Phi 3i can be written in the form of this, as this was minus 2 lambda I. So this is minus 2 lambda I plus 3 multiplied by minus lambda I plus 1, and we can take the minus 1. This can be multiplied by phi 2i. So now we are having the value of phi 1i in the form of phi 2i and phi 3i in the form of phi 2i. So we can write down the mode shape. So mode shape, generalized mode shape, we can say phi I equals to, the first is at the place of phi 1i, this is minus lambda I plus 1 phi 2i, and at the place of phi 2i it's phi 2i, and at the place of phi 3i it's minus 2 lambda I plus 3, and this is minus lambda I plus 1 minus 1 whole multiplied by phi 2i. So now we can take the phi 2i as common. So this becomes minus lambda I plus 1 1, and this is minus 2 lambda I plus 3 and minus lambda I plus 1. This is phi 2i. So if we place the value of lambda 1, then this becomes first mode shape. If we place the value of lambda 2, then this becomes the second mode shape. And if we put the value of lambda 3, then this becomes the third mode shape. So now we can write the first mode shape. So our first mode, phi 1, phi first mode shape, phi 1 equals to the lambda 1. Already we know the value of lambda 1. So lambda 1 is equal to 0.219220. So if we put this value into this mode shape, this is our generalized mode shape. So if we put the value of this here, then we will get 0.78078, and this is 1. And if we put the value of lambda 1 here, then if we solve with the help of calculator, we'll have 1 multiplied by phi 2 1. This is our first mode shape. Similarly, phi 2, the second mode shape, I'll write down directly. If we put the value of lambda 2 in this, then we'll have, so the value of lambda 2 is plus 1 here, plus 1. So plus 1 minus 1, this becomes 0, this becomes 1, and this becomes minus 1 multiplied by phi 2 2. And similarly phi 3, third mode shape, I'll write here, this becomes minus 1.28078, this is 1, and this is 1, and this is phi 2 3. So these are the 3 mode shapes. So before proceeding to, or before invoke the expansion theorem, we need to normalize these mode shapes. So normalization, next step is normalization of mode shapes with respect to mass matrix. So we know the property of mode shape, that if we pre-multiply by transpose of mode shape and post multiplied by mode shape, then this becomes 1 if the mode shape is normalized. So we can say phi 1 transpose m phi 1 must be equal to 1. So if we put the values, then phi 1 transpose is 0.78078 1 1, and mass matrix is 2 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1, and this is 1 point, this is 0.78078 1 1, and phi 1 square, this is phi 2 1 whole square is equal to 1. So if we solve this, we'll get the value of phi 2 1 is equal to, or we can say, if we solve this, we'll have 3.21923 phi 2 1 whole square is equal to 1, and phi 2 1 is equal to 0.55734. So this is the value of phi 2 1. So now the normalized first mode shape is, if we put this value phi 2 1 at this place, we'll get the normalized first mode shape. So our first mode shape phi 1 equals to, if we use this value, then this would be 0.78078 multiplied by this becomes 43516, and 1 multiplied by this becomes 0.55734, 0.55734. So this is our first normalized first mode shape. Similarly, we can get the second mode shape in normalized form. So now we will find out the value of second normalized mode shape. So for that, we'll apply the condition of normalization. So for second mode we can write this is phi 2 transpose mass matrix phi 2 is equal to 1. So this is for normalization, condition for normalization. So if we apply or will insert the value of phi 2, so this becomes 0, 1 and minus 1. This is our mass matrix 0, 0, 1 and 0, 1, minus 1, and this becomes phi 2 square is equal to 1. So if we solve this, we'll get the value of phi 2 2. So we'll get the value of phi 2 2 as 0.70711. So if we replace the value in the second mode shape, so the normalized second mode shape is 0.70711 and this is 0.70711. So this is our second normalized mode shape. Similarly, we can normalize the third mode shape. So for that, we'll write the normalized condition, normalization condition, and this becomes, if we put the value, transpose of third is 1.280781 and mass matrix is 200010001 and this is minus 1.280781 and 1 and this is phi 2 3 square is equal to 1. So if we solve this, we'll get the value of phi 2 3 is equal to 0.43516. So normalized third mode shape is minus 0.55734, 0.43516, 0.43516. So this is our third normalized mode shape. So from now we can put all the mode shapes in one form in the model matrix. So this was our first mode shape, this is second and this is third. So we can write the model matrix. So model matrix phi is, so third mode shape is, first mode shape is 0.43516, 0.43516, 0.55734, 0.55734. So this is first mode shape. Second mode shape is 0, 0.70711 and minus 0.70711, 0, 0.70711 minus 0.0711, and third mode shape is minus 0.55734, 0.43517. So minus 0.55734 and 43516, 0.43516, 0.43516. So this is our model matrix. So now we'll use this model matrix. So as we know that our equation was M matrix x double dot plus K matrix x is equal to Ft. So as we know that from model analysis, we assume the x is equal to phi q and x double dot is equal to phi q double dot, and if you replace these values into this equation, this becomes m phi q double dot plus k phi q is equal to Ft, and if we pre-multiply this equation by transpose of model matrix, then this becomes phi transpose m phi q double dot plus phi transpose k phi q is equal to phi transpose Ft. And if we write this equation for ith mode, then this becomes for ith mode this equation becomes, because as we know that if the mode shapes are normalized mode shape, then this quantity becomes identity matrix, this becomes diagonal matrix into omega square, and this is our generalized force vector. So for ith mode shape I can write qi double dot plus omega I square, this is omega I square, and multiplied by q, and this is generalized force vector qit. So now we know the values of omega i's, so we find out generalized force vector. So generalized force vector can be find out the transpose of modal matrix multiplied by force vector. So now we'll find out the qt, generalized force vector. So for that we'll transpose multiplied by ft. So transpose of modal matrix can be written as we know that the transpose of this matrix is 0.43516, 0.55734 and 0.55734. This is 0.70711 minus 0.70711, and this is third is minus 0.55734, 0.43516, 0.43516, and our force vector from the equation of motion, that was 0 0 ft. So this is force vector is 0 0 ft. So if we solve this, we'll get the value of generalized force vector qt as, if we solve this, this would be, and this was f naught sin ft was f naught sin omega t, and f naught was given as or f naught was 5 and omega was 10. So this was 5 sin 10 t. So if we multiply 0.43560, this is 0 and this is with 5, then we'll have, if we solve this, we'll get the value 2.7867, then minus 3.5356, 2.1758, and sin 10 t. So this is our generalized force vector. So if we know the generalized force vector, then we can write the governing equation of motion in the form of principal coordinates. So this is R for ith mode or ith degrees of freedom. So for first we can write the generalized force equation in the form of principal coordinates. So equations, you can write equations of motion in form of principal coordinates. So principal coordinates, we can write q1 for first mass, q1 double dot plus omega 1 square q1 is equal to q1 naught sin 10 t, and q1 naught is 2.7867 sin 10 t, and omega 1 we already find out the omega 1 square. So if we put the value of omega 1 was 0.4682094. So if we put the value of omega 1 here, then this would be this is q1 double dot plus 219.22 q1 is equal to 2.7867 sine 10t. And similarly for second mass, q2 double dot plus omega 2 square, and omega 2 was 1 under root k by m, and if we put the value of k and m here, then we'll have 1000 q2 is equal to minus 3.5356 sine 10t, and this is q3 double dot omega 3 was 1.510225 and under root k by m, and if we put the values, then this becomes 2280.78 q3, and this is 2.17 from here 58 sine 10t. So these are the equations in the form of principal coordinates, and these all equations are in the form of single degree of freedom system. This is analogous to single degree of freedom system, and if we know that the solution for this, or if this is our equation E, so we can write solutions for these equations are, for first, this is the single degree of, analogous to single degree of freedom system. This is our F naught, this is our omega square, so q1t, and this is the particular part, or we can say steady state solution. So particular solution for these can be written as, and as we know that for single degree of freedom, forced vibration, undamped force vibration for single degree of freedom system, so amplitude of this is F naught over k minus m omega square. So F naught here, so magnitude of our generalized force vector is 2.7867 divided by k1. K1 is because we know that the mode shapes are, we are talking about the modal matrix, so k1 is omega 1 square, and omega 1 square already we have find out, so this is 219.22. so we can put these values here, the value of 219.22 minus m omega square, and in modal matrix m1 is 1 only, and omega is excitation frequency. So excitation frequency in numerical given with 10 radian per second. So square of 10 is 100 multiplied by sine 10t. And if we sort out this, we'll get the value as 2.7867 sine 10t. Similarly, the solution for this q2t is equal to q2 naught, and that is minus 3.5356 over k2. K2 is omega 2 square, and omega 2 square already we find out this is 1000. So 1000 minus m2 omega square, and in modal matrix m2 is 1 only, and omega is excitation frequency is 10. So this is square of 10 is 100 multiplied by sine 10t. And if we sort out this becomes minus 3. This becomes minus 0.0039284 sine 10t, and this becomes, this calculation is 0.0233744. And similarly q3t is, this is our amplitude of force. So this is 2.1758 over K3. K3 is omega 3 square and omega 3 square is 2280.78 minus M3. Omega square M3 is 1 only and omega is excitation frequency is 10. So this is square of 10 is 100 sine 10 t. So if we sort out this, we'll get the value as 0.0009977 sine 10 t. So this is the particular solution of these equation in form of principal coordinates. So this solution of principal coordinate can be converted into the physical generalized coordinates. So for that, we know that from expansion theorem, we know that x is equal to phi multiplied by q. So phi is model matrix. Already we know that the model matrix is, we have find out the model matrix. So model matrix is this one. So we can put the model matrix here. So we can write the model matrix. This is 0.43516, 0.5573, 4, 0.5573, 4, 0, 0.70711, minus 0.70711, 0.5573, 4, 0.43516, 0.43516, and Q already we know in the form of Q1T, Q2T and Q3T. So Q1T, Q2T, Q3T already we have find out. So now we can find out the X1T, X2T, X3T. So for this, if we want to find out X1T, so X1T is 0.43516 multiplied by Q1T plus 0.0 multiplied by Q2T minus 0.5574 times Q3T. So we know that the value of Q1T, Q2T and Q3T. So from here we can use these values. This is the value of Q1T. So if we replace this value here, X1T is equal to 0.43516 multiplied by Q1T is 0.0233744 sine 10t, and this becomes 0 and this becomes 0.55734, and Q3T is multiplied by 0.009977 sine 10t. So if we sort out this, X1T is 0.0096155 and sine 10t can be taken as common, and if we sort out this, we'll get this value multiplied by sine 10t. Similarly, from this equation we can find out the X2T, and X2T would be this multiplied by Q1T, this plus this multiplied by Q2T and this multiplied by Q3T. So using the second row of this equation we can find out the X2T, and X2T I'll write here, this is 0.0095333 sine 10t meter, and similarly X3T can be find out using the third row of this equation, and third row, if we imply this multiplied by q1t minus this multiplied by q2t and plus this multiplied by q3t will have 0.0162395 sin 10t meter. So this is the solution of all the degrees of freedom, all 3 degrees of freedom in the form of generalized coordinates. And from the expansion theorem we know that if we want to find out the xt is phi1 q1t, phi2 q2t plus phi3 q3t. So if we want to find out the total response, we can use the value of phi1, q1t already we find out, q2 and q3. After putting these values, we can find out the total solution of this type of problem. So this is the whole sequence to find out the response of multi-degree of freedom using the model analysis. The beauty of this is the model analysis convert the n degree of freedom system into n single degree of freedom system. And by using these equations are analogous to single degree of freedom system in form of principal coordinates. So we can find out the solution of these equations similar to the single degree of freedom solution, and with the help of model matrix, this can be converted into the form of physical coordinates x1, x2, x3. So in the next part of this lecture series, we are going to solve the viscously damped system under the external excitation using the model analysis. So thank you.